Matt Steinmetz along with Daryl, the Guru Johnson, and we are joined by Mark Willard and Dan Dibley.
Yes.
On 95.7 The Game. What's up, gentlemen? How are you?
Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Thank God it's here. I don't mean that for the same way that all that you're driving around out there listening. I get it. Thank God it's Friday, traditional sense. Thank God the 49ers are about to play a football game.
Man.
I feel like I haven't seen Brock Purdy play football in 3 years.
Well, you haven't.
I mean, my God. So, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So, yeah.
Well, then the double whammy of no Warriors, too.
I know. And I
unusual.
feel like we've been stuck in a hypothetical world for a whole week. Can we play a game?
Man.
It feels like we had a mini.
It's coming.
I don't want to offend anybody here. I feel like from a sports radio perspective, we had a mini COVID week. There's no sports. We're just sitting here like, well, what would happen if the Niners wore green on Saturday? Like, good God, can we have a game?
Yeah.
Let's have a game.
Well, you had Farhan spending money in the international market.
That was huge.
That was big news.
That was big. Where's the breaking news sounder?
Exactly.
No, I get no deals.
My God, I'm
Jordan Hicks. Did he have a press conference?
Exactly.
Did he?
Oh, man.
I think he did. Did
Stevie Nicks or Jordan Hicks?
I'll give
Which
you
one, man?
Let's play a game, shall we?
Tomorrow, Willard.
Yeah,
Let's
tomorrow.
play a game.
Yeah.
Speaking of games,
Let's
we're going to play
go.
kind of a new game in about 10 minutes with the What's Bugging You.
Oh, that's right.
Presented by
forward to that.
ADCO Pest Control.
Another Friday feature.
So you think about
there
that.
you go.
Think about that for the next 10 minutes. And I think I was telling this to Mark, and I also told it to our wonderful caller, Shelby. She was really nervous. There's something about the Packers. Like, we don't know as much about the Packers as the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Rams. And I think that's lending to a little touch of anxiety for some.
I think it's a good point. They're young. They're this brand new pups. You know, we've been used to whether it's Favre or Rodgers, and there were always like receivers who we knew. Do you know what I mean? Like it was from a Donald Driver to a Devontae Adams and anything in between. Like we knew these guys. We don't know these guys. Christy and I were talking about the Packers earlier today, and she even asked, she says, wait, who are their receivers? Who is Jordan Love throw to? When I started going through names, I'm like, they're all babies. And the most accomplished one coming into the year was Christian Watson, and he's missed the majority of it. Trey Lance's ex-receiver, he's missed the majority of it with injury. So it's like, are they good? They're performing well. You don't. It's like, but I agree. We don't know who they are, and they've been much better in the second half of the year than they have the first. And then I'll add to it, Steiny. It's A, there's mystery, and B, a very recent, memorable, startling performance. And that's my opinion / hope, which is that we think the Packers are going to give the 49ers a game largely because of what happened the last time we saw them and the fact that we haven't seen the 49ers at all. So it's making the Packers feel like a little bit better than they are.
So.
Yeah. I do think that.
That's part of it. I also think that the unknown that you were mentioning is maybe a bigger factor because you don't know, like, a lot of these guys. Romeo Doubs, sure. And then we all were talking about Watson.
Yeah.
And then he hasn't been playing. And then you name like 4 or 5 other guys who all were dominant against Dallas.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're wearing your Cowboy jersey because you said on Twitter, on X, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then you're back. I'm glad you didn't go full Skip Bayless, like start trying to throw stuff in the trash can.
What do you think of that being? Is that too much?
It's the worst. And
it is.
Also, the bit of
Corn
it's
of the
complete
highest order.
It's completely corn.
Oh, boy.
And if you're a Niner fan and you lose, please don't post a video of you punching your flat screen.
Oh, well, yeah, that's going out there.
Because that, I mean, that's the worst. Or burning your jersey or being like Skip and trying to throw it in the trash, but your electronic trash can is smarter than you.
Yeah.
Let's play a game. Don't look. Wicks, the Green Bay receiver. What is his first name?
Sydney.
Exactly. And I want you to get it exactly right.
I think I heard it.
Okay, Dibs, you'll go with Sydney.
No, I'm going with Dontavius.
Okay, Dontavius.
I know it's
Steiny?
It's the one that it's not Devontae, but it's Devontae's my guess.
You'll go Devontae.
It's something like that.
You said Dontavius. And
I'm going to say Dwayne.
Dwayne. All right.
Your brother.
You guys are like a giant shortstop. You 0 for 3.
Right.
Nice.
His name is Dontavian.
Oh,
closest.
I
Okay.
did it.
Yeah. But that's kind of like, I think that's what you're getting at,
No,
Steiny.
that's for
that
sure.
dude can run a post route, but we don't even know what the hell his first name is.
Well, and without looking, like name their tight ends because they play 4 of them.
Musgrave.
Sure, which one?
And then there are other
Bill
people.
Musgrave?
Yeah.
No, what's the guy?
Luke Musgrave.
Tucker. No, Kraft Tucker.
Kraft. All the cheeses.
Is it Tucker Kraft?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
Gouda.
River Craycraft?
Yeah, look at you. But Mark, there's no.
Chris.
We've been talking about it all day. That was a monumental failure by Dallas or any team that was the 2 seed. And this young upstart Packer team came and they pounced on it. But I'm sorry, I've watched too much football to think that you're going to bring that into a building where coach owns LaFleur with a different quarterback that's on his way to the Hall of Fame and Aaron Rodgers. So it's no shade at Green Bay. It's just, I'm telling you, I have envy when I look at this Niner front office, what they put together on the field, and I just find it highly unlikely that they're going to give the Niners a game tomorrow. I could be wrong. I'll come in here and admit it, but I do believe the Packers, that was their Super Bowl. They're going to come in here and try, but you're the 5th worst team defense against the run.
Yeah.
We'll just leave that there. You're hot, but the Niners are good. They're damn good. So I expect a TKO tomorrow, and I'll be shocked. But I won't come in here if it's 21 to 10.
But you're setting a standard that's
But
like
they have said it, the Niners.
not 31, not
what
a
did-
4 touchdown
I
playoff
predicted 31
win.
10.
Whoa, wait. The Niners said it or set it?
a standard.
Set a standard.
Yeah,
Okay.
by,
okay.
you know, and
because sometimes I think we do that. We're like, Farhan promised he promised
No,
Aaron
not
Judge.
saying.
It's like, no, he didn't.
They're
The
just
49ers
good,
didn't say
man.
anything. Yeah, they're fantastic. Look, they're a 10-point favorite.
and that's it. Okay.
It's like you're not saying something nuts.
no
You're like,
doubt
I
about
think
it.
the double-digit favorite's going to
Yeah.
win by a lot. Like, yeah.
31-21.
Okay.
is
Oh,
the
whoa.
final.
All right.
Yeah,
Now I'm going to ask you what
31-21.
I've been asking everybody.
Yeah.
So you see the 49ers scoring 31 in the rain.
Yep.
Okay.
No doubt.
I do too.
And
All right.
I think that it's going to be McCaffrey left, McCaffrey right, McCaffrey
Fight.
Thank you. Exactly.
boy.
I think McCaffrey goes for at least $130 on the ground, and the over/under is 89 and a hook on his rushing yards. That to me is the easy one because
that is
I
a
kind
good
of
one.
agree with that.
He's
Wow,
he's
89.
3 weeks since he played. He's going to be fresh. And this is what I was telling Mark yesterday about why I like the Niners. They are rested. They are better.
Yep.
They're at home.
Yep.
And, I mean, everything lines up, I think, in their direction. I mean, short of like some fluky stuff, they're going to roll in this game.
Well, I know where you're going to go, where your minds are going to go on this one. Give me one position on the whole field where you would take the Packer representative over the Niner.
A quarterback, Amy Trask.
And that was,
Right.
and that's
Okay.
where I might
And
go.
I'm not saying I would.
and
that's the,
Aaron,
that's the one
that's
that
it,
you
Willard,
might.
for me.
What
Possible.
What if we give that to you? And can you name another one?
No,
Well, then the Niners should win the freaking game.
right.
Like, good Lord.
but I'm with you.
Good Lord.
Young Love is.
You're
good.
right. Like,
No,
you can
and I
take
just
all
said
those
that
points
to
and
try
go-
to
okay.
egg him on and get him started. It's what we do on the
He
show.
didn't bite. Yeah.
Here's
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
when we talk
He's
about
impenetrable.
when we talk about the who's going to win this game, I put the the Ravens play Houston and the 49ers play the Packers.
Yeah.
And to me, I look at it as though CJ Stroud, a young quarterback, was terrific in week 1 of the playoffs. Jordan Love, young quarterback, was really good in his first game in the playoffs. Now they're playing two teams. Each of those quarterbacks are playing a team that's had 2 weeks off. That is the class of their conference. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, you telling me Jordan Love is going to go beat the Cowboys, then come into San Francisco and beat the... I know it's like more than Jordan Love, but that's asking a lot.
It's a monster assignment.
Exactly.
For C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. It is a monster assignment, and one of them might do it. Yeah. Like these guys have flashed at times throughout the years where it appears that they might be next. You know what I mean? And actually, I sort of put Brock Purdy in that class, if you want to actually take the Amy Trask conversation to a more rational place, and take their stats this year out of it and the fact that Jordan Love's on a hot streak and all that. Brock Purdy, C.J. Stroud, and Jordan Love, if you want to look at these quarterbacks, there's three groups. There's the establishment, Patrick, Josh, and Lamar.
Yep.
There's the young, flashing, up-and-comers, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud. And then there's the two other guys who are solid at times in their career, at times not, bounced around a little bit, have been left for dead by their original number one overall drafting teams. That's kind of how I classify it. I think Purdy is right next to Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud. Exciting, young, effective quarterbacks who are off to phenomenal starts in their careers.
Yeah, I mean, you could interplace Jared and Lamar and Josh Allen because Jared's done more than those two in terms of playoffs. Lamar Jackson's been a regular season guy.
1-3
who's been
in the
great.
offs. Yeah.
1-3 in the offs. And, I mean, Josh Allen in the playoffs has not been much better. Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl.
Right. I
think
to me, that's ignoring our eyes and staring at a computer screen that tells us about results. I like there's not a one of us, if offered a quarterback, would take Jared Goff over Josh Allen or Lamar
Right,
Jackson.
but
What about over Purdy?
You put him in a category with
Goff?
Baker Mayfield, which
Goff
is
or Purdy?
disrespectful to Jared Goff.
Well, that's fine. I mean,
took
Baker
him earlier.
Mayfield, you've spent all week telling me how great he is, and Amy
I've been
thinks he's
spending months
Amy
telling
thinks
you
he's
that.
terrific. So
that was the one that
whatever.
got me.
You've been
Like,
dissing him since since we've been doing the show
I don't
together.
think he's.
Who?
Baker Mayfield.
I would not want him as my quarterback.
Of course.
And by
But
the
here
way,
he is in the Final Eight.
yeah, with 30 teams who've also decided they don't want him, and even the one who has him might
I called
not.
him an orphan.
Right.
Yeah, he had no home. Yeah.
Now, she obviously is very smart and has been. So she clearly puts Mayfield above Purdy because he's obviously she thinks he's had a really good year, and she's not basing it off the perception of him over the course of time, right? So I kind of get why she would say Mayfield in her own mind. Love is the one I don't get.
Well,
why would
I think if she had said it a little bit differently than 7 terrific quarterbacks and Brock, and that kind of led to a language conversation that I personally didn't love yesterday. It was like, and I would tell Amy this, she's the one who created the language. 7 terrific quarterbacks and Brock.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's good. And then came on our show yesterday and went, what's wrong with good? Well, wait a minute. Don't group them all together now. You're the one who separated them in the first place. So that was that side of it. What if we had said it this way? There are 7 first-round draft picks and Brock. Less offensive. But I think that might be what she meant.
But her point was almost like he wasn't in that group.
Well, and she ended up in the spot where many have, which is that we've decided that Brock is a product of having great teammates.
So was Magic Johnson.
Right. It's silly to me. So was Peyton Manning. So was Kurt Warner.
I don't
so was
get it.
thousands of. I loved what Greg Olson said yesterday. He called it a lazy narrative. The idea that if you have good teammates, that automatically makes you good. Does it elevate Brock? Well, of course it does. I think that goes both ways.
But the
And I
rat
think
on
that's
the
been
table is
proven.
where he was drafted. I
No,
know
like-
Scotty says that's over, but it never really will be. I believe him being Mr. Irrelevant, and it's not right, cost him his propers for some people.
Sure.
Like, there's nothing. Scotty's like, he could win a Super Bowl this year, and people will still be saying they need to see. Oh, Evan said it. And I
agree.
That's what's wrong with what
agree.
we do if that's the case.
I agree.
You do it with Lamar and with everybody who
But
doesn't
Lamar,
win
the
it.
proof is not in the pudding. He's 1-3. Purdy's got more playoff victories than Lamar already.
So let me ask you
He's
that.
gone Dak in the playoffs more so than excelling.
He's played 4 playoff
And
games.
he's 1-3.
Okay.
And he's had bad performances. So my point is,
Actually,
it doesn't match up.
I looked at some of his
look at the
numbers. They were
game in
not that
Buffalo,
bad.
just
They were
his
not
last
as bad
one.
as people
My
thought.
point is, Steiny, it has not matched up with his
How old
stellar
is-
regular season. That's all. He was MVP, went to the playoffs, and bam, got bounced at home.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming it all on him, but we got to see it. And Brock's already got 2 under his belt. In the one loss.
I guess what bothers me is you go, Lamar Jackson's 1-3 in the postseason. Okay, that's his fault. But you go, Brock Purdy's 2-1, but stop saying he's got all these weapons. Well, like, he's 2-1. He has a hell of a team around him. Why can't you acknowledge that the 49ers have more playmakers than any other team in the league?
That's fine.
Okay. But that's all anybody's doing.
Well, Amy didn't because she thinks he's a product of a system. And she's not the only one. That's my whole
Well, I didn't hear her say that, but she might have to these guys.
And she brought up Willard and Dibbs, Steiny. We talked about it earlier. I can't believe all the uproar. Hello? This is, when you say
what we
that.
do. Yeah.
No,
You're
that's
listening
what we do.
to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. All right, guys, time for What's Bugging You, brought to you by Atco Pest Control. Goo, hit us off. What's
I won't
bugging
name
you?
the person, but when somebody needs a ride and I'm out front, I was raised that I would be outside before the person that was helping me. I would be outside so I don't have to wait. And I did that and experienced it yesterday. Is disrespectful. So what's bugging me is if you ever need a ride for a friend or family member, have some class and understand time is of the essence. Be outside before the person gets there.
Yeah.
They should not have to wait on you.
That's my dad.
I'm with you.
Snapping is.
I'm with you.
Can
I concur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My dad-
That's showing
No,
support.
you nailed it because today
Be ready.
I brought lunch.
Freaking be ready. What are you doing in there?
I brought lunch to the missus.
Yeah.
She's at work. She said, "Can you get me a sandwich while you're out?" I did. And I texted her about 2 minutes before I got there, and I said, "I'm out front." And I wasn't there yet, but when I pulled up, she was out front.
There you
that
go.
way I didn't have to
Good
get
job.
that baby. Didn't have to
Good
get
job,
that baby
son.
out of the
That's
seat
big, man.
and bring the
That's how it
lunch
should
in.
be.
So I'm with you.
That's
Yeah.
good.
If someone's
That's
doing
good.
you a solid, be out front.
Goo,
God, I wish my daughter were listening right now.
This is,
I
Dude,
mean,
no
my
doubt.
God, if I could show you how many times I've texted her, I'm here because you asked me to be here. 5 minutes go by.
Boy,
Oh,
man.
we'll be right out.
Took me 20 years to get my older kids to that spot.
Wow.
Sorry, Stein.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, Goo, you're hitting me in the cardiac muscle because that was one of my dad's.
Oh, boy.
Oh God, his whole thing was he wasn't even. He was. If you're waiting for a ride, they shouldn't even have to beep the horn. If he heard a horn beep, he'd be pissed off at
That's
me
all I
because it
see,
meant I
man.
wasn't out on the front porch
By the way,
waiting.
horn beeping. Question for you, because this came up years ago in conversation. Is that an appropriate thing to do to say I'm here
In the suburbs,
or
yeah.
is it noise pollution?
Suburbs is fine.
Like some people
boy.
think the horn is only for, dude, you're about to hit me. Do you see me?
No, I think you go.
Is toot toot.
I think
Toot
that's
toot's
valid.
much different than
Inside,
toot.
right?
Yeah.
The angry horn.
But toot toot on the cul-de-sac when people are just, you know what I mean?
I think it's valid, Mark.
Like
I
Marge
mean-
might be inside
Well,
cooking with hot sauce.
This is pre-phones.
and it might startle her.
Pre-phones, you had to go beep beep.
Okay.
But now that there's a phone, like you can text and you can say, "Hey, I'm a minute away or I'm outside."
Right.
And then so now the beep beep I think is obsolete to your point. But back in the day when Steiny's dad was trying to raise young Steiny, there was no cell phone, no pager, there was nothing.
I hate that we all just assume like everyone's staring at their phone so much that if I give you a 60-second warning that I'm going to be there, you'll see
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
You'll see it.
What's
You're not
bugging?
wrong.
I'll go next.
Yeah.
What's bugging me? Atco Pest Control. I was on it a little bit the other day. This clutch crap in the NBA, I can't stand it.
That was funny.
They've come up with this stat. Who's the most clutch? They've come up with a cockamamie 5 minutes in a 5-point game. But mostly it's about we continue to just promote the individuals over the teams. And I can't stand it. That's it. That's what
Did you hear my response to that?
I didn't.
We
No.
talked about it an hour later.
Oh,
And because all I wanted to point out was, I wonder if Steiny knows who would firmly disagree with him.
Who?
David Stern. Like he started that.
yeah, I know.
He started the marketing of
Yeah, I
the
know.
individual, and you could argue it saved the NBA.
Yeah, and I hate it.
Okay. I mean,
hate it.
yeah, you're allowed
But
to
you're
hate
right.
whatever you want.
There's
but
no doubt.
Like, what sounds more exciting? It's Christmas Day, Lakers versus Cavs. It's Christmas Day, Kobe versus LeBron.
Exactly.
Bird Magic,
There you
who
go.
saved the league.
Yeah, it started with.
So what do you hate about
Yeah.
it?
I mean, the line I used was the shoes are not called Air Bowls.
Oh, wow.
I don't.
You know.
We again
great.
just it's pervasive. Go to ESPN and go to their NBA page. What should be first? The standings.
All right.
But they're not. They're down the list somewhere. The most important part of it. But you know what? I can tell you this. Bull had 9-9 the other night. That's all. It's about. It's kind of the same way we talk about quarterbacks in football. Yes, they're very, very important, but it's about the Niners, Packers. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready. Dibs, what's bugging you, buddy?
What's bugging me is Jay Monahan,
Uh-oh.
the PGA Tour commissioner, because I love golf, and you love golf, and I love golf, and I also love the PGA Tour. But I'm watching the American Express from La Quinta, and I'll have it on all weekend. But part of me knows that this tournament doesn't really matter because the defending champ is not there. It's Jon Rahm, and Jon Rahm is playing in the Live Golf Tour. And the commissioner, Jay Monahan, botched this whole Live Golf thing. They thought that Live was a pimple on their derriere, but it turns out it was more of a boil, and it might have been a corn. And you know what? It might have been a tumor because Live Golf is not going away, and they totally botched the fact that the majority, or at least half of the best players in the world, aren't playing on the PGA Tour anymore. Wow. So I'm watching this event, and I love it. And you look at the names on the leaderboard, and I know them all, but I also know that there are at least 8 or 10. It's Koepka, and it's Dustin Johnson, and it's the defending champion Jon Rahm, and so many other of the greatest golfers in the world. They're not in these tournaments anymore because Jay Monahan, the commissioner, he botched it. It was hubris.
How do you fix it?
It was ego.
NBA, ABA, it sounds like you're talking, man.
Right.
I hate
the way
that.
you fix it is you go crawling back and you find a way to make it right, but I don't know if they can. So I love the tour and I love these events, but these events like the Pebble Beach Tour or the event coming up at Pebble in a couple of weeks, it's not going to matter as much because the majority of the best players in the world won't be there. Wow. Sucks. It's
Mark, what's bugging you? Courtesy of Atco Pest Control.
Nice.
Oh, it's bugging me. The phrase Super Bowl or bust.
Oh, man.
I've had it. I've had it up to here. And that's what my mom used to say when it was time to go to my room.
Mark!
I've had it up to here.
What bugged you the most about it?
It's a moniker.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about this. It's a moniker that has absolutely no point, no answer. Super Bowl or bust. What does bust mean? Dibs likes to go, no, it's Super Bowl or else. And I always go, or else what? Like, in other words, I find the whole thing to be a little bit belittling to the entire process that we're about to go through. The San Francisco 49ers are absolutely 1,000% a picture of organizational health right now. It's in the dictionary. Yeah. Organizational health, boom. There's the Niners where they make good draft picks. Not all of them make good draft picks. They make good trades. They make good free agency signings. They've got players at every position. The players want to run through a wall for the coach. The players all love each other. They've got absolutely zero problems, and they go out and win most of the time. And then we're going to do that and say Super Bowl or bust. So if they go out against another really good team who hires coaches and pays players and also thinks that they're really effective, and if they go out there and lose 27-24 in 3 weeks in the Super Bowl, we're going to decide on some level that they stink or they're disappointing, or we have to have conversations about who should lose jobs or who we should rip or who needs to have their feet held to the fire or be accountable. I just think it's dismissive of the whole process that's going on, and frankly, not a way that I enjoy watching sports to think. Obviously, I'll be wildly disappointed if they don't win. That it's not that your emotions can't be wrapped up into it, but to think that it's only successful and only worthy of any praise if they win the last game is bugging me.
Well,
yeah,
dude,
what?
you were up against. I just wanted
I'm up
to
against it
respond to
personally.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, then.
Well, yeah, he hates when I just.
No, I don't mind. I get the
Okay.
Zoom
Oh, yeah,
call
go
in.
ahead, yeah.
All right.
All right.
You guys have a great weekend. Great show. And by the way,
Willard, I wanted to get
I want to
that.
express my
no doubt.
appreciation to
Yep.
everybody in this room and
Thanks,
everybody
man.
who sent me condolences over the last week.
We love you.
Very
Of
course,
important.
brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to fire this. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
No, go ahead.
Mark, everything you just said is spot on. But my point is, that was an organization calculator. You kept hitting the plus button, and they get credit. But it's like Peyton Manning. It's like Jordan. There's a monkey on your back when you get to a status of greatness. And all that Kyle, to me, is missing is a Super Bowl ring that I feel like he should have had. So nobody will say everything that you just pointed out is not true or it goes away. But I am watching the Kyle Shanahan movie of like, everything that Mark Willard just put out there is spot on. You do just wonder, when I say Super Bowl or bust, when are you going to get to that plateau? Now, real quick, you could say, well, they got to get there. He's been there once, had a 10-point lead, had 2 more trips to go back, had a 10-point lead. So when I look at that, where they're at in the health, that's great. But for a fan base, and I'm speaking for the fans, they have not won a championship, and that's not all Kyle's fault, since 1994. When you're this loaded, I don't think it's so. Because, I wouldn't say F the Niners, they don't know what they're doing. But you do wonder, is Kyle going to ever get it done if somehow they don't get it done?
That's fair. But in your next breath, we have it's a rejoin on your show where you talk about how Kyle Shanahan took Jimmy Garoppolo to a Super Bowl.
No doubt.
So take whatever your Jimmy opinion is now, and instead of going, dude,
Kyle goes up the charts.
Dude, you coughed up a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl?
Okay.
Why can't I respond and go, dude, you took Jimmy
No, I've done
Garoppolo
that. Dibs, but
to a Super Bowl?
But Mark,
Holy
you got
hell.
to understand.
I get it.
That would be if I was blaming Jimmy for the last 6 minutes of that Super Bowl when the play calling by Kyle was superseded when you could have just ran the ball. They couldn't
Jimmy.
stop it, but you dropped Jimmy back and let Chris Jones just wreak havoc. Like, those are coaching decisions.
I do blame Jimmy.
You can't think that Jimmy's not very good and then not blame Kyle for throwing the ball 3 straight times at the same breath. But, the whole idea of Super Bowl or bust.
Because we know he's not going anywhere, Kyle, and he shouldn't.
Right. So the or bust, what is the or bust? And we've had this conversation many times on the show. There is no or bust. He has an extension.
Yeah, no doubt.
And your quarterback's on a rookie deal, and everyone, for the most part, is coming back. So,
but it's set up right now to kind of, and you got to, to get something, you got to earn it. If it's Buffalo, Kansas City, or the Rams. But admit, no Dallas, Philly is set up, you would think.
Yes.
For them to get
It's set up for them to get there, but not to get it. Ooh. Because as you mentioned, if you get there, and they should get there, and if they don't get there, that's why I said Super Bowl or else. If you don't get to the Super Bowl, then something went wrong, either with your quarterback, with your play calling, with your defense, or a combination of all of it. But if you get there and you face Baltimore, Kansas City, or Buffalo, it's not going to be an easy game.
Yeah, no doubt.
So if you lose in that spot, then to me there is no or bust. Anyway, have a good weekend, Goo.
Night-night.
Yeah, time to get a new jersey, but you work on that.